Hi. So guys, today I'm going to do a character spotlight on Elisabeth. The reason I'm doing it is because she is the easiest 5-star to obtain in the game. For those who are unaware, you can find her in COD as a special drop when you're fighting some special teams. Especially the Whirlwind has a better chance to drop her. But it doesn't mean the team has to be Whirlwind. I've got her from the Light, the Dar, a few times the Andor. So she is mainly used by everyone as the legendary Clover Ace. So yes, her ace is not that great and we honestly don't care. She is just there to farm. I needed to point that out at the beginning because you're gonna be using her to farm. So you're gonna need in any way to actually throw her in the game. So I might as well explain to player her use. First thing is, the one you find in COD is a joke. She is completely useless. Do not take her as a reference. It's imagining a level a 5-star player with no stones, badly set up with the wrong setup. It makes no sense. And that's the same problem that a lot of players are facing when they talk about Elisabeth. They always think she is bad. In all honesty, Elisabeth is very good in a Whirlwind-only team. As a lot of her skills are going to be dealing with reflex, I would mainly put her in mid-line. So let's have an overlook at her position. Her ideal position would be at the front. I would not put her there. Her skills are not really made for a front unless maybe you're running a Ravian, and even then, they are better players for that. Again, she's better in some sort of Whirlwind team. Now, on a skill level, her first one is increasing the entire rate of the crit team. I'm going to be looking at her evolved version. I haven't evolved her as I took one out and I'm using it as a plus. I kept her level 1, I'm gonna 160 her, and then I'm gonna sacrifice this one back to her. Like this, they keep the clover count, and I paid no money. By the way, this is something that you can also do. So, the skill is gonna be basically increasing the crit rate of the team. So, it's very interesting. It can go up to 30%, so increasing the team's crit rate is something major. Because a lot of the time, you just don't want to invest the points or the stone in it. And for strikers, it never helps if you're not running something like a Vonchi. Then you have Queen of Benevolence. It increases reflex and get another turn with a steal. I'm gonna say this is very nice because it's kind of like the equivalent of super play but more based on steal, but it increases reflex. Just notice that it's conditional that you're using a steal, so do not think that when they're penetrating you, it's gonna apply. The third one is gonna be increased attack power and reflex within the position with a pass. So this is one of the reasons why putting her in front line sometimes makes sense, because she's not gonna try to penetrate and she'll be forced to pass. So in manual, she can sometimes be more useful. If you're running her in auto and she's in mid, you wanted this to be the skill you will not max out, as the chances she will pass are pretty low. If she were to pass, it would be interesting, but again, they're pretty low. And the last skill being Space Distortion. This is what I consider a badass skill. Decreasing inflicted damage and increasing reflex by 25% each is a perfect skill for a midline player. So to just go back, her advantage is she's selfish-ish. I mean, her active is really good, so you would just consider her active as the question. Her pass could be nice, and the other two skills are basically reflex, survival, and she has a pretty decent reflex by base. So now let's go look at her Spirit Stones. So Spirit Stone wise, well, as you see, there is a light slot. So we already know we're gonna be throwing a light reflex in that. And in the prime slot, again, that's a question of what you prefer. You're gonna wanna throw either a light reflex or an Andor reflex. They're basically the same thing. For the green, the very first one, you're gonna want to throw a speed stone. Then for the last green, that is more complicated. There are different options. You can decide to try and max her out on her base speed. So what you're gonna want to do is try to throw this stone, the Ancient Stormer. But ironically, this would be replacing the Piercing Stone, so it wouldn't be solving a lot. But it does recover Action Bar, who's not bad. If not, you could actually just decide to throw something like Protection of Mother Earth, or you can throw some Earth's Cry. Again, her stone slots are not ideal. It's pretty limited. If I were to say actually what I would prefer would be not to throw any uniques on it, and to throw the green because it has a critical resistance, and the second one to be a green steel. So she's going to be recovering life with this. It's going to be pretty nice. So in conclusion, light reflex, green steel, green speed, and another light or reflex is in my eyes the perfect build. Again, the problem is that the slot you're going to be playing with is green. Now if you're doing this, one of the options, if you really want to max that out, is to replace at the place the light reflex with a Thousands Watcher, who's pretty nice, but being attacked will never happen. Because if it happens, she will lose. So it's really not the best idea. You can try it. Now let's look a bit at her on a chain perspective. I'm gonna do this from my inventory. As a lot of you have noticed from the player book, it's hard to see the chains. Evolving her is extremely easy. She does not possess currently an EE. So if you look at her Nemesis chains, in PvE this is common, in PvP this will never happen. This, again, very low chance to notice. I mean, even in PvE, this is weak. So, especially at the beginning of the game, if you have a Noah, it's nice, but herself chain-wise is bad. Then we have Chitoge. I mean, I don't see why they would be on the same team. I can't think of a good reason. Somehow, maybe, so it's not a good idea. And Old Man Komoru is actually one viable chain, and in my eyes, the only viable chain she possesses. She's also in a few chains, so that isn't bad. So I hope you understand why Elisabeth is actually not a trash player, because that's what she's been called by basically everyone. She is decent, just when you set her up. And Elisabeth can go, from what I've seen, to 2.5 3k reflex when she does her pass. It's actually pretty nice. With a reflex line in a Wormwind level, this can be good. Again, she is more for a Wormwind team. She is not for every team. It's not at the point of being a niche, but she is a mono player. And she is very good against those Thunder lines. So I hope this has helped you understand why Elisabeth is actually not a crappy player. And hope that this is interesting to you.